Sometimes to let the woman win is a victory for everyone. It is usually a reverse sort of psychological situation when there are some situations where you have to apply pressure. You have to let your woman or your companion know that you're going to stand on your ground and you mean exactly what you say. But oftentimes, my Neo, you will find out that some women will not relinquish their emotional rampage. Some women are so headstrong where your logic and trying to convey any sense to them will feel like an assault on them, whereas they will feel like they are the victim. I didn't say that they are. I said they will feel like they are the victim. And all you are trying to do is get an understanding and work out as a team. When you are a companion to them, you are a team. When you are in a relationship, any close, intimate relationship, you are a team. And when you are working with them in any type of corporate or job setting, you are still a team where all you want to do or need to do is to understand and work as a team. But I have noticed in my emails and people who are texting and calling me, things of that nature, where there is more conflict than I thought that it was, and it's getting worse. I would think that during the struggles of time and this day and age in America, that women would at least cool their heels a little bit and try to think with an open mind. But because of the fear and struggles, and because they have been allowed to for so long to get away with destroying a village with her emotions and her hypergamous ways, where now it is becoming normalized and men are feeling the weight. They're feeling the pressure. They are feeling the fire that she causes, and she has no accountability for it. Sometimes in these situations, men, you just have to let her be on her own. You have to let her win. Because if you know what you are saying to be right and you state your facts, you leave it as it be and you let her do what she wants to do. Now, I'm not saying let as far as a control dynamic. If you women are listening, I'm not saying that it's a form of patriarchal allowance. What I'm saying, in any debate, you have an opinion, men have an opinion, and oftentimes those opinions may weigh heavily on a truth or a fact that one side may not want to actually accept. So what you do is you let the argument go. You let the debate lay where it is, and you go your separate ways. You walk away. Eventually, that result or the facts will rise up and change that person's lifestyle. It will change their ways. I have spoken to a lady. This was back in 2018. And she had 2 grown children, or they were growing children. And of course, she was struggling in her marriage. And oftentimes I find myself in that situation of being a teacher and a helper when the woman herself only might be interested in a steady relationship with me. But of course, she's not ready. Yes, I'm actually telling you that I've been in a situation where women have used their hypergamy and their monkey branching, and I've been the one that they wanted to monkey branch too. I cannot tell you how many times I've met multiple American women who were of a certain age. I'm going to get to that in a moment, an old age, okay? Where they do these certain things, which is true. If you ever hear MGTOW and Red Pill, other men tell you that women who get older, they become more aggressive, it's true. Because they spent their entire life playing around, having fun with their sense of liberation, and then they begin to seek out what they should have been with the whole time. So they'll look for a young, well-to-do, successful man like myself. Okay? But however, in this situation, when this lady decided to do that, I use that as a form of reflection, to use a mirror where she can see herself, as to just talking with her. So it turned out to be more of a mentorship than it was me accepting her hypergamy, her jump shipping from one boyfriend, one husband to me. I wasn't going to accept it, because I tell you, men, that you have to hold on to your standard and stay on to your principles and square that donkey dunking is not that important. You can say no. You can walk away. You can say, I am not accepting that. Because the same as it is for women to shaft away at their paint every time they donkey dunk and give away their qualities, okay, that applies to you as well, men. Whereas it will become a habit to accepting the low-hanging fruit just because the donkey dunking is easy and it's available. But it will harm your soul in the end, and it will harm your positive perspectives. Where when it comes time for you to be with that unicorn, or that one woman who is somewhat virtuous and have a little quality and a little potential to herself, you will not be able to peer bond with her. There will be a struggle as well. However, in the discussion with this lady, I have explained to her that it will be best for her not to try to have a friendship relationship with her older daughter. But what she needed to do was to be a little bit more stern. Not be her friend, be her mother. Be her guiding light. Lead her in the positive direction. Be a good example. Don't try to be this mother who is always out in the grocery store and the malls trying to try on fingernail polish and the latest Chanel, the Prada products and the Victoria's Secrets, and walking around in the shoe stores and trying to see which is the best, cutest brand. Oftentimes women don't think about what's the longevity or the quality of the material. If it's cute, she'll buy it. I know this. The price tag may be a little high, but to her, if it's cute, she's interested. Even if the shoes will fall off a week later. And so as I explained this to her, she seemed as if she understood, but men, you know, sometimes things go through one ear and out the other, because most times it's just a moment to moment thing, just like the seasons. It's only there temporarily. She will listen temporarily, but her emotions will change, and with her emotions comes her decisions. Obviously. With a younger daughter, she was deciding what type of phone she needed to give her daughter. All right. And I easily explained to her that this girl was too young for anything that was considered as adult-like. Smartphones, high-tech, expensive, a grand. That is close to $1,000. Some of them $900, $700, $600. I said, if you want her to contact you, there's school phones, there's public phones around the area, and you can get her a simple flip phone. It doesn't have to be the technical iPhones, and it doesn't have to have all the special internet access. In a state of emergency, there's always all type of sensors in the phone now. So if you want to do some tracking, there's tracking on those phones as well. Don't have to be completely technical. And it would be best to do that for that girl anyway, because she will be distracted. She needs to concentrate on her books. She needs to concentrate on her work. She needs to concentrate on what her future is going to be like. She needs to be focusing on her dictionary. She needs to understand her math. She needs to be in her room studying her homework that the teacher is diligently enough to provide for her. The only reason why that woman listened for that short amount of time, which was in a month span, was because she was hoping that I would change my mind and be with her on a permanent basis. So she was transforming at that moment. If you hear men say that women are chameleons, they are also telling the truth there as well. You've heard men say that all over the internet, all over YouTube, and pretty much it's becoming wildfire. They're saying women are chameleons. Do not trust them. Okay? They're actually telling you the truth. I've experienced that myself. These aren't made up stories. Where she only put on the robe that I was teaching her to wear on a permanent basis. She only put that on to try to convince me that she was at least being compliant and that she was different than the other women, that she was trying to do better for herself. So she tried to implement several things because I was there. So towards the end of me trying to teach and help, trust me, men, women, you may think that I spend a lot of time with people. Okay, I don't spend longer than 30 minutes to an hour tops because I have things to do. I'm a busy man. Okay, I am in the realm of entrepreneurship. So I got things I got to take care of. But within those hours, 30 minutes, every so often, twice, 3 times, 4 times a week, depending on my schedule, you'll be amazed at things that you can get done when you use the proper words and you use concentration and you clear out the BS. You just get straight to the core. Say, hey, I'm here for business. Okay, let's talk about it. Let's get it done. No placating. No going out shopping. Okay, all the fun and party time, save that for a different day. Anyhow, so eventually this lady began to realize that I was sincere and serious not to get in a relationship with her. That it was all business, straightforward talk, and just there to apply my knowledge. You'll be surprised that it's been happening like that with several women who may approach. I'm not going to immediately just shut them down, especially when I know that they need some type of assistance. I use that as a learning portion for myself. And oftentimes I am able to see that there's something broken in their life as well that just so happened to come up in conversation. And thus the help begin. The mentorship, the tutor, the learning process, help, physical trainer, ... But as she have awakened from her stupor and realized that I wasn't going to be her second donkey dunk partner. Of course, there's plenty more for that. But I mean, her jumping from that guy she was with to me. She began to sober up and realize that I wasn't playing into her game. That I was in her life to make things straighter. And to bring logic where there weren't no logic. To be this man who stands on his square. She didn't run into a blue pill beta simp. She ran into an alpha red pill man. She ran into an awakened dude. Somebody who's conscious. She ran into answers. she did not run into questions. Okay? I wasn't there to promote her to continue to make mistakes. I was there to give her answers, to make corrections. So she didn't like the idea. Of course, that's what most women would do at this particular point, is come up with her attitudes, come up with her uncomfortable explanations and her excuses. And you need to come around more. These shaming languages and, are you gay? Are you not interested in women? Why do I always see you alone? Why do you don't want to be with me? Is there something wrong with me? The list goes on and on. Are you scared of children? You don't like children. You think my daughters are too much for you. Do you not trust me? Okay, it goes on and on and on. Right? And as I usually do as a friend, you must know, my American people, and you, women, Morpheus loves you. But the way I show my love is by being honest with you. I'm always honest and upfront. And in that same measure is to tell you what needs to be done in order for us to succeed, or if you are to succeed in a newer relationship. Because I have my principles and my standards, you see. It's not about me saying, you need to change in order to be with me. I'm not that type of man, you see. Morpheus don't do that. I'll just simply say that over here in my kingdom, the way to get into the gates to become a part of my world only requires certain things. Either you have it or you don't have it. And I can't change my protocols and principles because that's how my kingdom functions. If I change anything, then I wouldn't be who I am. And here comes compromise, then my kingdom has crumbled. I can't allow that, miss. So if you want things to work out between me and you, just change a little bit and we'll see what happens. That means change your perspective, because I'm not that blue pill beta man that you just left. I'm not the other blue pill beta man who you think is immediately going to accept you and immediately going to be with you just because you are donkey dunk material. Okay, men like myself look past that. That type of weakening power that you think that you've been using this whole time as your trump card do not work. Not on real men. And so because I stated my facts and did not give in to her ploy, because it's just her chameleon behavior. Some women can't help that. Some women, they just need a little bit of guidance, and to do so, they feel like every man, she must apply to him to a certain way and put on a certain coat and shirt to join his party. But then if you realize if that is true for many women, then that means they're not who they really are. As a chameleon, that means what is her base color? What is her base face? What is her base status? Her base status is how you met her. Her base status is the lifestyle that she had before she met you. Whether it was conformed by the boyfriend or husband that she left, and now you are picking up the pieces, or in between that, her life was in shambles, trying to figure out the logic and all. That's just her base color. So I gave her a little bit of room to think things over. Not to mislead her. I'm not that type of man, as you know. So months later, towards the end of 2018, reaching close to 2019, there was a follow-up that have occurred. Her older daughter gave me a phone call. I'm like, okay, what's going on? What's up? Oh, Mr. C, things are all right. Sort of. Sort of, what do you mean? My mom's tripping. Yada, yada, yada. She began to talk about her mom's attitude and her twisted ways. I asked if she found another man. Nope, no man. She's struggling paying the bills. She's not well as much as she used to be. I don't like her sometimes because she starts drinking a little bit when she comes home. She's never here anyway. I'm like, okay, how's your little sister? Found out that she did not get a simple flip phone. Her mom's slaving every day to pay to get anything and everything that the little girl wanted, and she ended up, of course, with a expensive smartphone that she didn't do anything to earn. She didn't get a small-time job. Of course, she couldn't. She's a child anyway, but she didn't do much of anything to earn. So, of course, she didn't take my advice. She didn't listen. Didn't listen at all. So the girl said, hey, I'd like for you to stop by and visit us sometime. You know, we miss your presence. You know, I need some help, some answers, some things going on in school. I'm like, okay, I'll come by in 30 minutes. I get there and go over a little bit of her homework, a little bit of explanation here and there. Good 15, 20 minutes. Mother shows up. Hair is colored her hair this time. Different type of color. Got her yoga pants on, trying to blend in with the common American woman that you normally see. Not naturally, normally see. She wasn't always like that. She just took off more clothes, revealed a lot more to get more attention. That's what women do. If she can't get a man the first time, she'll do even more to get the man's attention. And so during the small interaction, that 20 to 30 minutes, I've noted the relationship between her and the older daughter was no longer that mother-daughter type of thing. Now was the friendship that I have warned her not to build. It was almost like watching two equally mature women arguing, interacting. There was no mother-like atmosphere there. There was no mother-like interaction. The reason, and one of the things that told a lot of the story was the fact that the older daughter called me and not the mother herself. So she had already reigns and power in the house that her mother have allowed. It was in such a disgrace and a disappointment to the point where the daughter would put the mother in her place. The daughter had a snazzy mentality. She had a smart mouth. She didn't respect her mom. She did not take what her mom said as anything important. Her mom was a joke. She would literally talk about her mom to her face. She would tell her mom what was stupid that she would buy, what was idiotic that she would say. The roles have reversed, whereas the older daughter became the mother and the mother was now the child. She no longer gained respect and power in that family. And it never seemed like the mother even cared. Why is this? She was always working. She was always somewhat busy, making excuses, running around everywhere. She did not take the initiative or the time to see what she was developing at home. So she didn't mind giving her daughter a expensive smartphone that she really didn't need, but would distract her from her everyday normal, supposedly normal lifestyle of a teenager, a growing girl, basically. So thereafter, it was no good. It was complete distortion, and she went right back to her old ways. Having a conversation with the older daughter, began to explain and tell me specifically and in truth that every now and then she would have her boyfriend show up. They'd come around, common face type of dudes, while she was still communicating with her ex-husband. And every so often she would go out with her ex-husband. She had no intentions of having a stable relationship. She had no intentions of even figuring out how to gain it. She just wanted to be lawfully, just to do whatever that she just wanted to do in the moment without thinking of the calculations of the future. Right? Now, when I met this girl, she was already of age, meaning the mother. She was already beyond the wall, hit the wall and, flipped over it, and you can still see the bricks on her face. Okay. You can imagine I was a young man. Well, I'm still young now, but younger than her at that time. So she was looking for some young blood, some young energy, some stallion to put some pep in her step. I wasn't going for it. Smarter than what she thought I was. She thought I was the typical. She was she was sobered wrong. So I get a phone call 2 weeks ago. Today. Still messing around. Daughter can't stand her. Actually, the older daughter is now distancing herself from her mother. The younger daughter does not respect her at all. She realized that her mom was just completely out of control. And that there was nothing there to hold on to. Daughter's grades was declining. She too began to build up an attitude and lose complete respect for her mother. Older's daughter, that's right. Not only can she not stand her mom, she's already moved out already. At a very young age, very young age, 19, 20. 19 and 20, you're still trying to figure out you. You're still trying to understand yourself during those ages. You don't have time to be going out there thinking you are an adult. Even though you are of a legal adult age, that doesn't mean that you are prepared for the real world. You still have things you have to do for yourself. You're still not quite together yet. My mind went back to a couple of the arguments that we have had. To me, it wasn't an argument, it was a misunderstanding. To her, it was an argument because of her typical emotions. Where I have told her that it wasn't about her and it wasn't about me, it was about the children. It was about the possible damaging future and recreating the negative rat wheel that's not going to provide anything for the future or for men. I explained to her that it is your task as this mother of them, why I am telling you that you need to be a mother is because those girls are going to be somebody's wife one day. Those girls are going to have children of their own one day. Those girls are going to need proper guidance, and you are not guiding them the right way. In all kindness as I can muster. And I can never forget how much of an evil expression, energy, and verbiage that she threw back at me. She said it wasn't all about them. She said she has a life to live of her own. Now, she needs love, compassion, relationship. List goes on. Didn't want to listen to anything that I told her that she should have done and can do if she wants to make herself pliable to be in a good relationship. She still didn't listen, apparently, since her older daughter told me she was still messing around. She was only thinking about the moment. And all I can do is just mentally shake my head in great disappointment, because now these two girls are now going to be the new future for men who they will definitely have a problem peer bonding with or cooperating with in a sensible relationship. So getting to the more in-depth part of this experience. She says she has something important to tell me. That is the mother. Okay, fine. She's going to leave the kids at home, and we're going to talk about whatever she said was important. So I said, let's meet up at Starbucks. Let's talk about this. Okay? See what this situation was. Of course, I was kind of curious as to what it was, and I was pretty sure at the time that it wasn't going to be something too major. It was going to be something that she did, right? And that was usually the story most times. So I get there, and we sit down at the table across from each other and order our drinks. I'm saying, okay, so what's this thing that you need to tell me about, that I need to know of? It's your personal business, it's your life. I'm just here as a friend of the family. But I'm willing to listen, right? Only got a few minutes before I get off somewhere else. Got things to do. She said, well, I know you're going to be disappointed, but my oldest daughter's pregnant. I'm like, okay. I'm looking at her, not really surprised, but kind of surprised, because I knew it was going to happen anyway. That's what I was trying to warn her about. She didn't want to listen. So I'm like, okay. I get quiet. No response. It's like, she continues. Well, I want to, and she's kind of struggling where she actually wants to move back home. She wants to move in with her not born baby yet. And how do you feel about that? She says. And I didn't give any response because I'm getting ready to, really lay into it. But I'm thinking, okay, how can I express the situation to her without offending her about her mistakes? Okay. So I throw something in between to filibuster before I come up with my plan of attack. I said, so how was things between then and now? Let's get back off the subject. We get onto that in a moment. She says, well, I can't keep a relationship, and seem like I can't find again, here we go. I can't find a good man. Wow, it never ends. I mean, the audacity to live this lifestyle, then try to say she can't find a good man, but she's not a good woman. Okay. Anyway, I'm like, okay. All right. So I'm thinking, so how do you feel right now? What's going on in the family? And have everything been successful besides, of course, you not being able to have a relationship? She begins to break down a little bit and begin to tell me how much stress that she has. Of course, men, this is where you become her tampon, right? And her oldest daughter witnessed her trying to at least get a man in their life, and it becoming unsuccessful, whereas she start losing the oldest daughter's respect, now the youngest daughter's respect. Story continues, okay? And I stopped mid-stride because now I finally got my answer. One thing you have to do, people, is learn how to listen first. You listen to them. Now I know I said I halfway listen to what women say. The only reason why I say that, or I have said that in my audio, that I barely listen to what they say, is because I know what they're going to say before they say it, because I've been listening. That's because I did listen. Okay. And when I've listened, I realized just how much of a trouble that it was and how much of a jibber jabber it transformed to be, and the illogical emotion I feel, blah, blah. Not I know, I studied, I comprehend, and this is the change, and I advanced. Usually never that. Not here, not in this country. Not what I've experienced anyway. And here I came with my shebang. I'm halfway through my coffee. I'm like, okay. So I said, how do you feel that you won the argument? How do you feel? And I said, she said, what do you mean? What do you mean? How do I feel? I won what? I said the argument. I came to you. I told you how bad things were and how they were going to be if you did not listen. I've explained to you what's going on in your country. I told you about the feminist movement. I told you about these false sense of liberation, and you're overworked. You told me that you're stressed. You can barely be at home for your daughters. You dress to be objectified. You can't find a good man because men are good in their own circle. They're not good for your principles. They're good for their principles, but you want them to mold into your new sense of reality that you have summed up from being deceived in your environment. Okay, you wanted to be a friend to your daughter instead of being a mother, as you should have been. And now you got your younger daughter who's growing up being the same. Instead of you having the ability to teach and to be a good role model to her, now she's going to be just like your older daughter, and she's going to hate you eventually. And now she's going to be just like you, a clone of your success. Now, you would think at this point that this lady would have, probably poured the coffee in my face, or it would have been some type of public argument. That is from her. I just would have been quiet and walked away. Like, have a good day, ma'am. But she got quiet, and then, I can never forget how she was just looking around like she wanted to jump out of the seat and run. Because she knew I was right. When somebody's uncomfortable, they know that the light is shining on them. They're not going to look at you directly in the face. It's a fight or flight type of situation. She chose to fly out of there. She didn't leave, surprisingly, but she was very fidgety, looking around and looking all over the ceiling. She's just like, okay. I need to find ground because this is what I've been avoiding the whole time. This is what I've been trying to avoid with my lifestyle, as what she was doing. And so she finally turned back around, and of course, almost pretty much surprised me. At this particular point, it's not rocket science, men and women. When you know somebody and you are able to deal with them with respect and you don't argue with them, and you are a calm cat. Okay, it's easy to calm the storm. Okay, it's easy to come up with an understanding when you're not coming from a force of offending or using hate words or being aggressive. When you just calm and you speak the truth and you're honorable and you're honest, even if it stings and it hurts, the people who you talk to have an ability to understand that you're just trying to help them, even though it feels uncomfortable. So therefore, an argument will not initially erupt. It erupts when you don't understand where the person's coming from, that they're just trying to attack you in your perception. So she's like, okay. I got what you were saying, and yeah, I'm suffering for it, okay? I'm suffering for it. She puts both palms on the table with a little small thud. You know how you just put the palms on the table and the table shakes a little bit? I get what you're saying, okay? Yeah, I messed up, but I can't turn back now, but I need help now. Now my daughter's pregnant, and, should I help her? Should I bring her back home and let her, lay up there for a while? And I asked, okay, where's the father, the baby? She said, well, I barely see him, barely know anything about him. I've only seen him several times, and I'm never home anyway. And, that's my daughter's business, and I try not to get into it. And that in itself almost peeved me off, because I'm thinking, this is your daughter. You barely know this boy. You're so busy, but you're so busy trying to be your daughter's friend instead of your daughter's mother, where you don't concern yourself with how she is ruining her future and her life, and actually restricting herself of success, getting pregnant so early. Like, it's just, I say, listen, I never forget. I went ahead and chugged my coffee all the way down. I said, you know what? You won. No, you won the game. No, you're strong and independent. You can dress any way you want to. It's your world. It's not a man's world. Never was anyway. Men was just trying to provide for you, trying to be the logical sense out of your illogical day. You didn't want to hear what I had to say when I was giving you my program and my assistance and mentoring and tutoring. I told you not to do what you did it anyway, but now all of a sudden you need more help, and it's going to be a never-ending cycle because now she's pregnant and now she's coming back home, and I'll be doing the same thing. I'll be sitting here becoming your tampon and trying to help you out of your situation over and over and over again because you messed up again, and you'll keep messing up, and you're going to keep messing up and still be uncooperative to be in a proper relationship. So I'll be generally wasting my time. I said, I got better things to do. Looked at my watch. I said, you know what? No, you take care of what you big. You bad. You got all this. It's a woman's world now. You liberate. Have fun with that. I get up and walk away. Get my vehicle and drive off. Okay, she didn't even try to get up and walk away. Her face was still facing towards the seat where I was sitting at. And I see she didn't budge at all. It's a glass window. This is Starbucks after all. You can see on the inside. So I just drive away like, okay, I'm good. Took the phone number and erased it and never heard from her ever since. Never wasted my time, wasn't interested in wasting my time. Okay? The lesson of this experience to share with you, and I wrote a lot of these events down so easy to bring it to you so I can remember it as if it was yesterday and apply that to what we're dealing with here in this current world, this current day, this current project of America, which is just project of destruction, projects of practiced, ill-prepared future for our children. Okay, before the real Shangri-La comes in, and there is no future at all for humanity or these children. Okay, is that you got to understand there's no need to argue, just let them win. If you men are around women like this, or women like this, or you've talked to, or this may even be your wife, okay, you're wasting your time. Just walk away, let them win. Sometimes you stand on your square, you state how you feel, you state what's right in your perception or in your experience, and there's no need to try to direct them any further than that, because women are going to do what they want to do anyway. They have to see the end road for themselves. A lot of times, and I'm going to tell you this again, and I've told you in the audio, a lot of times you got to just let them be. Everybody is not going to be saved. There are going to be some people, it's going to be like sifting wheat, where the bad grains and the bad wheat is going to have to be used for something else or burned or something like that. Good wheat is going to be saved and it's going to live. I got another expression that let life create the living, let the dead stay dead. There are some things that will not be progressive for the future, nor for our children, because what happens is there are people like her and others. They are the producers of the next slaves for the next generation. That I can't make it no simpler than that. For the next unfortunate women who are going to create even more unfortunate children from an unfortunate situation, because they are with unfortunate parents who think that they are very fortunate with their sense of liberation and their sense of trying to create a new future or new life out of themselves, like trying to create the wheel all over again. It's trying to recreate the wheel. The wheel was created years ago by man and woman. Logic, illogic, emotions, non-emotions, testosterone, estrogen, yin, yang, left, right, sun, moon, up, down, right, left, blue, red. Okay. It was an operation of balance that worked out should things go off the rails. Okay. We were here to help each other and to unify, whereas we are not perfect people, where we're going to need a dependency to a degree in a percentage, not fully. All right. No such thing as independence. You have a sense of dependence in multiple ranges, where whether it might be people making your food at the grocery store, creating your clothes, or filtering your water, you still depend on those systems, those people, those corporations, and those jobs and places to provide for you. They don't have to be intimate. They don't have to be your husband nor your wife. Okay, so saying you are independent is a very silly, illogical, unintelligent thing to say. You're not independent. Okay, you just choose to try to take the heavy weight and the heavy burden, okay, with your own decisions and free will and deciphering perception. That doesn't mean that you are fully independent. But there is consequences behind it, especially with this liberation run and I don't need a man and we're going to do all right, all pink ribbons, okay, destroy all men type of mentality. Okay, I'm going to ride the motorcycles. I'm going to drive the trucks. I'm going to do what men do. And then I'm going to be all right in the end. You have a surprise and rude awakenings coming. If you want to live that lifestyle, men aren't arguing with you. Look, just like this young lady here. I'm not going around the country telling you what you should and shouldn't do. I'm saying to you what could possibly happen. Easily, when you sit down and you do the math and the equations, you will find out the denominators. You'll find out the remainders. You'll find out what you're going to end up with. Easy. But then you don't have to take my math and my logic. Just watch the country. Look at marriages. Look at relationships. Look how women are today. Go to the grocery stores and watch them with their 1 or 2 kids and the mom's there. Where's the man? Or 2 or 3 of them. Look how they dress. You know, look at the nightcaps they wear on their head when they go into the store, and the slippers that's supposed to be at home and the clothes that's supposed to be at home that they're in the store with, and they're like, oh, I'm independent. I don't need a man. This is my life, but I'm going to live my own life as I should and want to. That's your business. Nobody is judging you. Nobody is putting you down. They're not going to. All right. But at the same time, there are consequences that you have to deal with behind those certain behaviors, which is going to lead America and the country in a different direction, in which it is already. And all the while, children are watching, and they're going to become just like you. Just like you. Children may not want to listen to you. They may not like listening to you, but they have a good habit and a profession of practicing what you do, becoming just like you. And then we wonder why there is no evolution in humanity today, because we have too many Agent Smiths that are like that movie, The Aliens. There's an alien movie with Sigourney Weaver. And in that movie, you got this queen alien. This queen alien has a sac connected to her that produces all the other little aliens that are just like her. Just like the queen mother, right? And so we have this mentality here, but yet we want to have a different type of future. We're trying to succeed. We think that our sense of equality and liberation is going to change the face of humanity. And as a matter of fact, it is, but it's changing it differently than what you want it to be. And the outcome is not going to be favorable. If you love your kids, if you love your America, if you love family, if you somewhat loyal, if you got a crucifix around your, oh my God, you got a crucifying signal around your neck, you know, trying to symbolize somewhat of a care. I can't even fathom how that can be somewhat of care. Put a syringe around your neck at the same time and say the same thing. That is a lethal injection anyway. So you have this type of mentality, but yet you say that you have a bright eye and vision on the future, but we're spiraling out of control because we're not trying to think about the behaviors that we're doing today. So therefore, you don't see men marching out there. We're not arguing with these women. Okay, you're getting what you want, and we're giving you what you want. So, in other words, you're winning, but your winning results usually isn't what you want. It's not what you think it's going to be. And we don't want to find out those complete results like this lady and others that I have experienced a little too late, because now you need help. Now you need advice. Now you need to straighten out your home. Or when you are too old, 60, 70, 80 years old, and your grandma and no companion, nobody to be there with. There's no notebook. Listen, there's no notebook romance. If y'all watched that movie before, you should watch it. There's no notebook romance. There's nobody going to be with you like that. I cannot fathom, as Morpheus, how an individual can live their life without any concern or any heart to want to be loved or have the ability to love someone else. I can't understand that. I can understand how you can live your life and say it's all about business. I don't want romance. It's all about me getting up in the morning at 5 o'clock in the morning, coming home at 9 o'clock at night, and I leave nothing for my heart, for my soul, and for myself. Because that only tells me that you are one with the machine. You are a machine. Okay? But then those of you who want romance, they want a great relationship. You want to have the financial wealth, okay, in the proper measure with your family, with your unit, with your husband, with your companion. But at the same time, you're trying to achieve that through the new deceived program, okay, of a separate home, of thinking that you should just be accepted for who you are, when who you are is a development of the feminists, of false sense of liberation, or false sense of equality, or false sense of power, false sense of freedom to do and to do what you will and still get the same quality as it used to be back in 1920, back in 1930. People gained their wealth, their trophies, their romance, and their love and their marriages through sacrifice and compromise. People gained longevity in their marriages, their relationships, and being a good icon, being a good role model, being a good rule of thumb for their children through sacrifice and compromise. They had to put their feelings aside. They had to put their personal differences aside, and they had to mold themselves with their companion. They had to mold themselves with logic. They had to mold themselves with a sense of being, not with a sense of attitude. And, because every other woman in town is doing it, I'm going to do it too. They didn't do that. They said, just because everybody else is doing it in town doesn't mean I'm going to do it, because I realize if I make that mistake, I am going to be lost. But again, I say, just because our illness and incorrect way is normalized, that doesn't mean it's natural, and that doesn't mean that we should. And those of you who think that I am wrong, you are in a space bubble. Because you may think that you have a successful marriage or relationship. You've been together for 15, 16 years and you are fine. Okay? But there are plenty others around your country, okay, who was utterly unsuccessful. And whatever limited ceiling that you have, okay, with your limited marriage, as you may think it to be, brazen with gold and cotton candy and tasteful sweetness every day, okay, it can still be better. It can still be greater, or aging like fine wine. But how could it in such a current world where everything is pretty much accessible that can tear you apart? So again, has nothing to do with judging. It's not even an argument. But men and some women, you have to learn how to just let that other person win. And when they receive what they've been working towards the whole time, okay, the argument stops.